What's up, guys? Okay, I think we have it under control now. I'm not seeing the timer with the live, so that concerns me. Let me see if Emily will jump back on. Not sure what happened. We've been having technical difficulties. Here we go. Let me bring her on. Thank you for being patient with us. These things happen, and it's all part of the journey. It is all
You're
part of the
getting
journey.
tested.
There you go.
You're just like, oh my gosh, I've got so many conversations, so many things. You're doing good, girl.
Whew, okay, so
Where were
where were
we?
we?
I can't actually remember. We were talking about um, we just mindset and
Mindset.
yeah, mindset.
You covered something awesome, which was community
Hmm.
is
Yes.
key. Community environment is key. I loved what you said about be very discerning about who you spend your time with because you will end up being part of that, right? So I've heard this quote and I love it. I even made a video on it. Tell me who your top 5 friends are, and I'll tell you the next 5 years.
Oh, that's
How'd it
so
go?
good.
Love
That is
that quote.
so good. Truly, though. Like, real talk, if you honestly just shifted that, I swear to you, like, that honestly takes care of everything else because you can't be around people that are like pushing, creative, amazing, kind, like, da 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 da, all the things, and not rise to that. Like, that kind of shifts everything because then you get the book recommendations, you get new connections, you get podcast recommendations, you get ideas. Like, all of that kind of comes through that conscious discernment around curating your environment, not just like defaulting, you
Mm.
know?
What would you say to people? I wrote this post that was really present in my heart today. What to do when your family and friends do not support
Mm-hmm.
your work?
Mm.
It took my mom 10
Wow.
years. I just heard it this December where she was like, you know what? You're going to be really successful. I'm like, damn, she
Right.
finally
It's like
drank the
I already
Kool-Aid.
am, thank you, but I appreciate the testament. No, I think it's funny. A lot of people's like I have clients and things that will say like, um, oh, I don't think any of my friends or whatever will buy or whatever. And I'm like, your business isn't going to be made by your friends. Like that's not who's going to buy. Yeah. And like
At
honestly, I've
all.
had two friends come through my programs and they were the two of the worst clients of my life. Like literally, like it was like, don't even, no, it's not worth it. Um,
And your friends are the ones that will call you for the
right. Yeah.
freebie and like once they start believing in what you're doing, then they start calling you. I'm like,
Right. Yeah.
okay.
It's people just don't like you have like I've always said like you know your vision, you know where you want to go, you know where you can go, you know what you're capable of, you see it, like you're connected to it. But like people can't see that, they can't feel that, and also people have their own perceptions. Like I remember a lot of people saying like I feel like my fam like there's a part of a couple of my family that like can't really understand that what I do. Well, a lot of them don't know what I do, but like oh wow, that's really works, like she's really created that, it's really happening, like but they don't know until they see it. And so I think that one of the biggest things as well, especially like early stage when you have like ideas that maybe like you don't feel 100% confident in yet, or you don't feel like it's time to invite people into that conversation, like you do have to be again discerning around like sharing, because like I say, like when you have a spark, when you're like, oh, I'd love to do this and maybe I could quit my job and maybe da, 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 you don't want to go sharing that with your skeptical mum or your like uncle that like has like fear-based mentality around like XYZ, or whatever it is, because that's going to dampen your own belief. But like when you have a friggin' raging fire, you can tell everyone because it's like you're like, that's cool, that's you, I'm good. Like, so I think it's like not like we all have unsupportive friends and family up until a point, like at some level. Um, and asking yourself like if you feel like you're in a position to really be kind of swayed by what people are thinking, what they're saying, and their opinion on what you do, then maybe keep it to yourself. Like, you know what I mean? For real. Or find people that are really,
Absolutely. I'm with you.
really, really going to support you. Like Hamish. Thanks, Hamish.
Yeah, really support. I I can relate so much to what you said of people not knowing in
Mm,
your family what you do.
New
Sorry,
York.
we're in New
Yeah.
York with sirens. This is so normal. It's like part of the
Of
background
course.
theme.
I like it, scrungy.
My mom, when I left the the stock
Mm,
exchange, I thought I
mm,
lost my mind. And she was like, "What the fuck? What are
right.
you stupid?" Like, my mom's very critical. And when she saw that I was doing life coaching, she was like, "What the fuck is that?" So she thought in her mind for several years that I was like a missionary.
Right. She's like, my daughter has gone off the charts.
But what I love about what you bring to the forefront is being protective
Mm-hmm.
of your dreams, being discerning about who you share it with. And I do believe in the importance of
Totally.
sharing it, because as we share it with people
Mm-hmm.
that hold space for it, it just gets stronger energetically, that vision. But be discerning on who you say it to. And if that person is going to be self critical, for many years I didn't come to my
Yeah.
mom sharing about what I do, right? So that was part of protecting the dream, protecting the vision, and
Mm-hmm.
it's so important, and I'm so glad that you brought
Mm-hmm.
that to the
Yeah,
forefront.
I definitely share it. Like, by no means am I saying keep it to yourself and all the things, but it's like, again, it's that environment and finding like when you're creating something and you're shifting and you're pivoting, we're always going to be like, it's unrealistic to think that you're going to just only have the same community, the same relationships, the same people in your life forever, because like how many times do we change and evolve into essentially new people through our lives? So it's like it's a natural process. So if you're shifting into something new, that's a natural step for you to then find a new community of people that are going to support that, that are in that space, that are other space for that. And it might not be the people that you've been used to, and that can be kind of confronting, especially because there's usually a gap between, okay, you're not the person for this context anymore, but I don't have those people yet. And so that can be kind of hard, but it's like knowing that like you putting yourselves continuously into those environments will create that, those new relationships, and those will be the people that you share that stuff with. And not everybody is the person you chat about your business with or your dreams with or whatever. Like some, there's different kinds of friends for different kinds of things, you know?
I want us
Mm-hmm.
to touch on two things before I answer
Yeah,
my
girl.
last question that I've asked
Ooh.
every speaker. The importance of, like, and I'm sure you this has happened to you or maybe not, but when we
Mm-hmm.
start shining, when we start creating the results, right? And when we start creating the credibility and we start succeeding, there are people in your life that may not be happy
Mm-hmm.
with where they're at. So you shining bright may
Mm-hmm.
be a trigger. You shining bright might have, and I was in this pattern that I was noticing that I would shine bright around the people that
Mm.
could hold that light, and I was dimming down to really be mindful of where people were at. But it was also a disservice to
Mm-hmm.
me and my life, and there was
Mm.
no healing in that. So what would you say to that, to people that are succeeding, having some growth, right? Having some success in a particular area of their life. They're shining bright, they're going for it. And there are people in their life that can't
Mm-hmm.
handle that light.
Yeah, I mean, it's I was thinking when you were saying that, I was like, I don't really feel like I've really experienced that much. But then I think I honestly then I was like, hold on, you come from a culture. We have something in New Zealand called tall poppy syndrome, New Zealand and Australia, which is essentially a societally cultural like standard of like, you don't be shining too bright because we're going to cut you down. Like that's essentially what it is. And
Right.
yeah, it's an interesting one. And the interesting thing is it actually it doesn't serve the person either, because like it's not, again, if we think about the importance of the environment, if you have people around you thriving, sure, it might make you uncomfortable, sure, it might make you feel like you need to be like further along or whatever, but that's still going to actually light a fire in you because you're seeing a possibility. So like people, we need to shine around other people because it inspires people, it helps them realize what they can do. Like, and it's a reframe, I think, internally that we get to make. Like when I see someone that's, I think like inherently when we see someone doing something, that an initial thing can sometimes be, oh, like I'm not there, or I can't create that. Yeah.
I'm
Whereas
not
it's
there
like
yet.
if we
Yeah.
can actually see that and be like, oh my God, they've created that, so I can create that. Like that's just totally showing me, right?
That's
Exactly.
me.
That's such a liberating way to be. And I think that when you change that in yourself, then you can realize that like you doing that around other people has that same experience for them as well. But it is, and again, I think it's really just knowing like you can't, you can't, again, it's like a projection. Like we're assuming that if we shine bright around someone else, it's going to make someone else uncomfortable. And like, if that's the people that we're with, then we get to look at like, okay, is this really the people that I need to be around in my life? Like, is this really the energy that I like want to be surrounded by, supported by? But yeah, I haven't really had like that I can really consciously remember, but I think there is a modesty built in. But I think if you're like, it's an interesting one. I think you get to really ask, like,
Yeah.
if it's something that's like quite active, like someone's going like, "Oh, get over yourself," or "Oh, that's not very good," like actually really diminishing you, then I would be like, "Get the fuck up!" Like, that's a no. Like, you don't get to be like,
I love it. I grew
right.
up with boys, right? It was my sisters and one boy, but I grew up with a
Mm-hmm.
family, a tribe of boys that we lived in the same community, and now they're all men and married and kids and all that. But we still are very tight every time I go back home. And I asked one of them, "Do you think I'm humble?" And he says to me, "I think you're too
Mm,
fucking humble. I think you
mm,
need to own
yeah.
what you're creating and stop fucking trying to like downplay it and dim down and make sure everything's comfortable." And I was like,
Mm,
"Oh, I get that.
mm.
Thank you for that feedback." Um, the last thing I want to touch
Yeah,
before I
girl.
ask you my last question, the
Oh
perfectionist
God.
syndrome, because
Hmm.
I still have that.
So I honestly, like I always talk about this as like a spectrum, right? Like, because I have a lot of perfectionist clients. I honestly am not a perfectionist at all. So like when like I don't identify as a perfectionist anyway. So like I'm more on the spectrum where I need to like stop a second and like check the page, like check the email, check the links, like before I go, because I'm just like, I'm ready, I'm doing it. Which I think honestly like has served me in some context, which like anything, there's a shadow and a light of it, whatever. But I think like something that I always say to like, perfectionist like clients is like, well, firstly, I remember when I went to Tony Robbins years and years and years ago, and he's like, perfection is the lowest standard. Like it's because it doesn't exist. Like there is no even such thing. Like again, it's sometimes one of those things that we hold over like, oh, perfect. It's like, okay, so tell me what perfect would look like. Do you even know what that looks like? Do you even know what that would feel like? Do you even know, have you ever achieved that? Like, is it even possible? And so that's like something to even ask. But then also thinking like, if you just relaxed a tiny bit, like it's not like you're going to go from being total perfectionist to loosening up a little bit and then being like a complete mess. Like you're just like, it's just like fighting that urge to like check it another time or wait. Like, so, and going, okay, this is my edge. Like normally I would need to wait another day to put this up or did it. It's like, okay, go push it and just like push that boundary. Because I think that like the perfectionist thing, God, it slows people down so much, but it's also just like not even achievable to get that. And I think it comes with like, like also identifying like what's the fear of it not being like perfect or whatever it's, and then like the more that you do it and then see like anything, it's like do it, like send the email before you're ready, like sell the program before you've built it, like all these little things. And then you're like,
Mhm.
oh, it's like again giving yourself the opportunity for that experience to happen and for you to realize that it's fine, like it's cool. Okay, maybe you had a spelling mistake in your page. Did you die? No. Like, did you get it live? Yes. Do you feel good? Great. Have you changed it? Amazing. Perfect. It's fine. Like, I don't, it's just leaning into that edge, because you can't, like, just perfect isn't a thing. I mean, like, how does it affect you? Like, how have you worked through being a perfectionist as someone who has? Because I can't say that I am a perfectionist.
I, girl, I have Dropbox, Google Drive filled with programs and
Mm,
content and that I've
yes.
never put out because my perfectionist was so in control. And what really had me break through was exactly what you said, going to the underlying
Mm-hmm.
fear behind it. And I really was operating on I want to create enough value for people and I want it to
Mm-hmm.
be different. And in a world where there's so much recycling and
Mm-hmm.
parroting, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to be that. So I would just be like, I would create it, I love it, and then I'd be like, nah,
Right.
and put it to the side. And my husband would always say, dude, you're not fucking painting the
Right.
Mona Lisa over here. Just
Mm-hmm.
get it done. And what really helped me was a mantra that I learned from Gary Vee: done is better than perfect, and documenting is better than creating.
Mm.
And that really hit home. His thought behind documenting is like, we can create all night, all day, but if we're not putting it out there,
Yep.
what's the point? You know,
Yeah.
so document.
Yeah.
I love that. Now, before we get into our last question, I want you to share with us your freebie that you're made available to all of our guests, and where people can find you to connect with you and really seek out your support in building a successful
Sure.
business.
So I have a business basics training program. So it's for people that are kind of at the earlier stage, or wanting to sort of refine their online coaching, consulting, service-based business. It's a video training series with some worksheets that I have there, and the link, I'll have to maybe get you to post it, or I can post it underneath here, because I don't know it off by heart. It's like entreport dot da 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 da. So I'd need to actually write it, but you can grab that down there, or you can get it on my Instagram. So there's a direct link on my Instagram.
And we're
And
also
if you
sending it
need
out
to
in the
sign up to
email.
this one summit, it'll all be sent out to you on there as well. And yeah, I'm on Instagram a lot. I'm not on Facebook as much these days, but I am on Instagram at Conscious Boss, and there's lots of links and things in there that you can find me or send me a message. And that's probably the easiest way these days. My website is consciousboss.com, but Instagram seems to be the home these days for everything, and that's where I spend the most time. So yeah, I'd love to connect and shoot me a message.
I love it too. IG
Yes,
is the
honestly.
best.
What did we do before that? I love it.
Now, my last question, my love, is what are your top 2 to 3 tips on creating an epic year?
For me right now, I'm totally right now, I want to say slow down, which might piss some people off, but like slow down enough to like be present in what you're creating. Slow down enough to be conscious about what you're actually deciding to go for. Like slow down enough to ask yourself the question, why do I want it? Like give yourself the space to sit in, okay, I'm saying I want this. Why? What is this going to get me? What, like, and really sit in like, what is it that I want to create, but why, more importantly. So like giving yourself that space. And secondly, I would say don't get caught up in feeling like you have to have this fucking sorted right now. Like you have infinite, like I'm going to say 10 million because it's big, but like infinite moments to have a January 1st this year, like in every single day. And I think that's really important. Like I've had so many transformational moments in like my last year, in like in all the moments. You don't have to have it by January, you don't have to have it by March. If you haven't got to where you want to go by April, it doesn't mean your year's written off. Like a year is a construct of time that gives us the energetic renewal, and I get that. And also your life is your life. You have fucking millions of moments in a day to redecide, to choose again, to make a meeting, to refocus, to do it. So don't get caught up in feeling like you're falling behind or like you have lost your chance, and know that you can recreate and like you just have so much time. So don't get caught in that trap. And also make sure you put conscious effort into your environments. Put yourselves in rooms, experiences, weekends, whatever, events, relationships. Cultivate relationships that really excite and expand you, because that's going to be an investment worth making for the long term.
These are so good. Thank you so much for sharing that. We did a whole live before you with another guest speaker, a dear friend of mine, Maurice, and it was all about the importance of slowing down. And I'm loving to see how all of these amazing experts are in this
It seems
same
that, hey,
wavelength.
it's
So good.
interesting. Yeah. I think because I mean, Alexia and I were saying today, I was like, how good is it that we have figured this out at this age? Like that we're here now, that we have to like, we've figured it out that like, it's like figuring out the key to life. It's like kind of awesome. But you know, you obviously have to go through whatever your journey is to go through, but also knowing that like, this is the ultimate point, is your happiness. So do more of what makes you happy, and you'll be surprised at what that will create. Like it's not frivolous to rest. It's not frivolous to like find out what excites you and feel happy, you know?
I love it. I love it. I think one of my biggest takeaways of this talk is the importance of knowing that we're
Mm.
always arriving. This moment is it, and you arrived, and that's
Yes.
it. The next moment, you
Mm-hmm.
arrived. That's it. Being in the moment is so crucial, and sometimes we can get caught up on all the bullshit of having it
Yes.
all. I really want to honor you, my love. Thank you for
Yeah.
saying yes. Thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for being such a commitment for people to get the business, but the business really
Mm.
represents the life, right? It's all connected. And I honor you for that, for spreading your magic and leaping and creating so
Oh
much
my God,
magic
thank
in
you,
the
my
world.
love. I want to acknowledge and
Thank
honor
you.
you for putting this together because you guys, honestly, I promise you, like, this takes a lot of love, energy, and effort to like create this and to show up and to like be the space. Like, I just get to turn up, but Michelle has to really like create all of this. So, thank you so much for all of that. And it's been such a treat to get to know you more over the last year. And I'm so excited to see you in LA. Like, this woman is a powerhouse right here. You guys only know probably like 5% of what this woman is up to in the world. And like, that 5% is juicy, but like, you are a beast, and I love it, and I love you, and I can't wait to see you in
Thank
LA.
you. Thanks, babe. Thank you so much to the viewers for joining us. I know that I didn't interact, but I really wanted to create this sacred space of going back with the expert and holding space for this conversation. I'm really excited about this interview because what you don't know, what you guys don't know, is that I've been doing this water fast with
Wow.
Evan
Yeah, I
Lagasse,
think,
and this is my
damn
fifth
girl.
day. Nobody knew that shit, and my energy was like, and after this call, after this interview,
Yes.
I am breaking the fast. My
Oh my
5K is
God.
complete at 8
Yes.
p.m.
Oh my God. Go girl. I don't know if I could do one of these summits on no food.
What? I didn't
Wow.
even know that it was falling on the
Damn. I'm
same thing.
impressed. Good
But
girl.
yes, I'm going to run for my
Oh, hell
tea
yeah.
and my oatmeal. I love you,
Bye,
girl. I
peeps.
love you guys. If you haven't signed up,
Do it.
creatingyour2019.com. You'll get daily freebies from every expert. You're going to get amazing, including my own interview. Love you guys, and I will see you soon.